It looks like that the Chrisleys don't know best after all, because Todd and Julie Chrisley, stars of the hit reality show Chrisley Knows Best, were sentenced to years in prison today. And you better believe we're going to talk about it. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here or you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button right below this video. Also, like the video as well, because that helps share the video out throughout the YouTube community. And last but not least, join the conversation by commenting below, because you know I love to gossip with y'all and hear what you have to say about this story. Baby, whew, it's not looking good for the Chrisleys, okay? Y'all know Chrisley Knows Best. I did a video some months ago about the Chrisleys when these charges first came up, and it was they were allegedly it was alleged that let me just break it down for y'all in quick terms. Pretty much what they were doing was going to loan companies and lying about their income. They would go make fake bank statements, take them to the bank and say, here you go, we make millions of dollars a year. So the banks would take it and they would say, okay, they would look at these fake documents, not knowing they were fake, and they would give them loans because they thought they had the money to pay it back. They would give them millions and millions of dollars of loans, only to find out that the Chrisleys didn't have this kind of money. They were making fake documents just to get the money. So that's where these charges are coming from. Bank fraud, wire fraud. It's a whole lot of mess going on with an alleged gay romance involved. So let me just go ahead and get down into the meat of the matter. So Todd and Julie Chrisley, this is according to people.com. You know, People magazine is like the Bible of they call People magazine the Bible of pop culture. If it's in People magazine, it's true. Todd and Julie Chrisley have been sentenced in their bank fraud and tax evasion case. A federal judge sentenced the Chrisley Knows Best stars on Monday, with Todd receiving 12 years in prison and 16 months probation, while Julie, his wife, received 7 years in prison plus 16 months probation, according to the Insider and Fox 5 Atlanta. Prior to the sentencing, Todd and Julie asked for leniency. In a statement, Todd said his wife, who is the caregiver for their son, Grayson, who is 16, and their granddaughter, Chloe, who is 10, should not be punished to the same extent as Todd. So Todd is asking to give his wife the Teresa Giudice treatment. Y'all remember when Teresa from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, her husband did a bunch of stuff like this. He got in trouble for it, but Teresa was ignorant and didn't know and was signing documents. Her husband would say, sign this. She would sign it, and that's how she got involved. But in that case, they were lenient on Teresa since they had kids. Since Joe and Teresa had like 4 or 5 kids, they were lenient on Teresa, and they gave her just a year in prison versus the 4 or 5 years that Joe got. Now, Julie, this is where things get a little sticky, and this is why I don't feel sorry for them at all, because they're pulling every trick they can out of their hat to try and get out of this. Now, Julie was emotional. Julie is the wife of Todd. Julie was emotional as she described a conversation with Chloe, who is the couple's estranged son, Kyle's daughter. Now, if y'all remember, they had Todd and Julie have a child named Kyle, and he has a biracial child named Chloe. And Todd and Julie took this child in because he was dealing with drug problems. He had mental health issues, so they took Chloe in. Now, get this. Julie was emotional as she described a conversation with Chloe, who is the couple's estranged son's, Kyle's daughter. She shared, quote, "To hear your 10-year-old say she doesn't want to live if their mom goes away, no child should feel that way," per the outlet. Now, Julie, I'm not saying that the child didn't say this, but part of me thinks that this was made up from them just to try to get sympathy from the judge. I feel like Todd and Julie were thinking, oh, if we say that our kids are threatening to kill themselves if we go to prison, they won't send us to prison, or they'll give us a lenient sentence. Really? Y'all really trying to use Chloe in this way to get out of what you did, what y'all did, the mistakes that you made, Julie and Todd. Did y'all not think about your family when you were doing all this bank and wire fraud, allegedly? I don't even know why I'm saying allegedly. Hell, you were convicted of it. You're going to prison for it. But were y'all thinking about your children and your grandchildren when you did that? I don't think so. Now, it gets worse, okay? And I'll tell you why I don't feel sorry for them. One, it's the child that they're using, but they're also using another card to try and get out. Can you guess what card they're using? Think about it, and we'll get to it in a second. Now, their former accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also sentenced to 36 months in prison on Monday. Tarantino, who was convicted in June for his involvement in the couple's fraud scheme, is set to report to prison on May 1st, 2023, after undergoing his hip surgery. Now, so they had a couple people helping them in this scheme, and that's kind of where the gay lover comes into play, because 10 years ago, in 2012, when they really started doing this frauding and this scheming, Todd had an alleged gay lover named Mark Braddock who helped them in this scheme. And what Mark was doing was impersonating Todd. Todd would have Mark go into the banks and act like him. So this guy would go in, he would say, I'm Todd Chrisley, I'm here to take out a loan for XYZ. Or he would do it over the phone or on the computer. Now, prior to the sentencing, federal prosecutors requested that the judge sentence Todd to between 17 and 22 years and Julie to 10 and 13 years. They also asked that the couple forfeit nearly $20 million. So the prosecutors wanted more time than what the judge actually gave. So the judge actually took it a little bit easier on them. But the prosecutors said, look, we want them to go to prison for 20 years. And we want them to pay $20 million that they stole. They should pay all of it back. Now, Todd's lawyers filed a response to that motion to ask for a reduced sentence. They noted that his incarnation will, quote, severely and negatively impact people, including his mother and those who are employed in the production and filming of the Chrisley's television shows. Do you know how vain that sounds? Now, so he's saying, if I go to jail, this is going to impact my mother, who I take care of, which is understandable, but it's also going to affect those who are employed on the Chrisley's television show. Stop the lies, Todd, because yes, while you may not be there to film, these people who work in production have plenty of other jobs they can go to. There are other shows that are filming. Chrisley Knows Best is not the only show that's out there filming. I've worked in production. I worked in TV. Y'all know at home, I've told you. I know how this works, okay? It's like freelancing. You hop from show to show. If they were working on Chrisley Knows Best, the production team, they can hop over here and work on The Real Housewives for 3 months. And then after that, they can go over here and they can work on The Kardashians for 3 months. And then they can go over here and they can work on MTV show for 3 months. Like, they're not relying on the Chrisley Knows Best show to pay their bills. So stop with the lies. And then not only that, your children have 2 spinoffs. What is it? Growing Up Chrisley, and I don't know what the other one is, but their children have spinoffs to where they move to LA, you know, whatever. So the whole point of you saying it's going to affect those who are employed in the production and filming of the Chrisley's television show, no, it's not, because they can just go over and work on your other shows. Y'all have more than one show. It's not about just you, Todd, you and Julie. Now, it says that the pair's friends and family also provided character witnesses in support of a reduced sentence. Let me see how well that worked out. Let me move on down here again. Of course, now Todd and Julie have gotten their lawyers to try and file a motion for, they're going to try to appeal it. You know, they're going to try whatever they can. I mean, they paid these attorneys, so the attorneys are going to try to do whatever they can to get them out of this situation, through appeal, through whatever. But I don't think an appeal is going to work. This case was brought in front of a jury. The jury looked through the evidence that was presented, and they found that you guys to be guilty. And what gets me is that when people go through situations like this, when you get in trouble, judges, juries, all that, they will take, if you admit your faults and your wrongdoings and you say, you know what, I fucked up, I was selfish, I did steal from these banks, they'll take that into consideration and reduce your sentence. They'll say, okay, this person's taking accountability, they're owning it, they're going to have to do some time, but they're not going to have to do as much time as I would have normally given them. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The motion, Todd and Julie's lawyers say, quote, this testimony had the effect of falsely painting the Chrisleys as untruthful, likely to commit other forms of fraud, and evading the tax payments alleged in the documents. In June, a federal jury found Todd, 53, and Julie, 49, guilty of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and tax fraud. Julie was also convicted of wire fraud. Okay, now, during their 3-week trial, Assistant U.S. Attorney Annalise Peters claimed that Todd and Julie submitted false documents exaggerating their wealth to banks to borrow over $30 million that they burned on their affluent lifestyle, while additionally hiding money from the IRS. Annalise told the jury they made up documents and they lied through their teeth to get whatever they want, whenever they want. Now, I don't think y'all are getting the severity of this. They borrowed $30 million. Not at one time, of course. I think this was over the course of years. But $30 million? Y'all burned through $30 million fucking dollars? This is why I don't feel sorry for them. If I'm going to go do some illegal shit like that, I'm going to at least put me back a couple million for legal fees, for attorneys, in case the shit hits the fan. Was nobody thinking we need to have the best lawyers on deck in case shit hits the fan? World's dumbest criminals. That's like these people out here who took out them PPP loans that didn't have an actual business. Now, y'all got that $20,000 in the bank, but you never thought about you're going to need a good attorney when they come knocking on that door. It's just hard to feel sorry for greedy people like this because, of course, we all want to live an affluent, extravagant lifestyle. We all do, but at what expense? At the expense of your family? At the expense of your freedom? Like, where do you draw the line? And it just shows, like, look, everybody makes mistakes, but it just shows how greedy that Todd and Julie Chrisley really are. Let me see. Let's get down here. In September, a couple months ago now, in September, Todd revealed, this is the part where I just get so pissed off, and I say throw him in the motherfucking slammer and throw away the key, okay? In September, Todd revealed on his Chrisley Confessions podcast that he believed that the truth would prevail. And I quote, I know that the truth will eventually rise to the top, and I know that we will have survived the lies because God has put that in my spirit, he said. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. I know and I have peace that God is working overtime. Satan will never outwork God. Bitch, you are Satan. This is the problem that I have. Because, let me tell y'all something, and hear me clearly. The people who are doing the most lying, deceiving, frauding, scheming, the biggest fraudsters and liars and schemers are people who claim that they're, oh, Jesus Christ, God. The people, if someone is constantly using God as a shield, using God as an image, as smoke and mirrors, you have to question them, and listen, there's nothing wrong with being religious, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that every person that believes in God or that attends church weekly is a bad person. Absolutely not. I'm saying that a lot of times when someone is constantly saying, God's going to protect me, and I know that the truth will prevail, and God's going to come down, and he's going to... Be wary. Be wary and be very, very careful. And I think it's disgusting, if you ask me, because you're sitting there and you know you fucking lying. You know what you did. But what do you want to do? You want to try to use the God card to make people feel sorry for you. And that's another thing. When they do use this card, they have a lot of these Christian people believing them. Well, they're God-fearing men and women. They wouldn't do that. The Chrisleys wouldn't do that. They go to church. They love God. So I can go out here tomorrow and burn down a fucking building and kill 20 people. But as long as I say, I've got God in my spirit. Jesus loves me so much. And that was Satan that took me. Save it. Save it. Because we aren't buying it, Chrisleys. Now, if you want to have your relationship with God, by all means, go for it. I'm spiritual. I have a relationship with God, my God, not the God that the Christians and everybody else paints out to be. My own relationship. You can have that too, but have it in prison. Talk to God in prison, okay? Ask for forgiveness in prison. And while you're in there, take some time to reflect on the decisions that you've made and the person that you are. Because y'all are both frauds. And that's the thing. Todd always says he lives in his truth. He lives in his truth. You are a damn liar, Todd Chrisley. You are as gay as they come. You had an alleged gay lover, Mark Braddock, who's come out and said that you and him were in a gay romantic relationship. And I believe him wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I believe it. Because I have never in my life seen such a sassy man who talks like this and has to have his facials and has to have his clothes ironed and wrinkled a certain way and goes to Neiman Marcus. And I've never seen such a sassy man live such a huge lie full of smoke and mirrors. Okay? And again, I'm not saying Todd can't be married to a woman and be in love with Julie. I think he really loves Julie. I think they are in love, but I also think that you have an attraction to men as well that you can't hide, that you can't fight. And you know it. And that's why I've always had a problem with their show, y'all. I said this in the last video that I did months ago. So many people are fans of Chrisley Knows Best. I've had friends and family that love their show. But from the moment that I watched their show, I'm like, this show don't sit right with me. How is your life so perfect? You know, how is your life so perfect? Look, we give the Kardashians hell. We give the Kardashians hell. But you know what I can at least say about them? They put it all out there. When they're going through something bad, when someone's been cheated on, when someone's got a drug problem, whatever the case may be, they put it out there and they're real because it's a reality show. The Chrisleys, you never see their problems. It's always, we're going to the mall today and we're going to have a family dinner and everything is just so glitter and rainbows, and it's not. While behind the scenes the entire time, y'all are frauding people. Frauding banks. You know, stealing all this money to try to keep up with the Joneses. So, I've never, ever bought their show. It's always been a lie to me. It's always been fugazi, fake, not real, smoke and mirrors out the yin-yang. And some of y'all may say, well, all reality shows are. No, they're not. No, they're not. I've worked on some shows and they're not all fake. And remember I told y'all, I worked with a girl on the last show I worked on. When I worked on Love and Marriage, I worked with a girl who worked on the Chrisley Knows Best show in Nashville, okay? She lives in Nashville and she worked on the show. And I said, we were talking one day and I said, you know, their show just never seemed real to me. It always seemed fake and scripted. And she said, oh, it was. It was very, very forced and fake. They would come up with scenarios, they would come up with things, and action. I mean, I didn't say it, she did, and I believe it. I believe it. You can watch the show and tell. Anyway, what do y'all have to say about this story? What do y'all think? Do y'all think Todd and Julie are actually guilty? and that Satan has taken over, as Todd said, or whatever he said, do y'all think that God's going to prevail and get them out of this? Or do you believe that Todd and Julie Chrisley are guilty and they should do the time? Just like, because look, if this were me or you, at home, and me and you went out and committed bank fraud, wire fraud, and we bamboozled 30 million out of the fucking state government, we would be under the jail right now. Todd and Julie probably actually got a lenient sentence because of who they are. We don't know if the judge was a fan of the show. We don't know. They probably got off easier than what we would have. I don't know. I want to hear from y'all, though, what you think about this story. Their kids are going to be okay. Their kids are grown. They'll be fine. They've got two that are, Chase and Savannah are 24, 25 years old. They can take on Grayson, the 16-year-old, and they can take on Chloe. They're going to have to. They're going to have to step up, and they're going to have to be the parents in this situation, and they're going to have to get to work. Keep filming those shows. Savannah, keep pushing your makeup line. Chase, you need to come out with something, a clothing line, a men's grooming line. Start you a podcast, Chase. Get some endorsement deals going. Do something. Use this time while your parents are in prison to build your family back up, to get your family back where they should be, legally. And then when your parents come out of prison, everything will be good. Should be good, and you can have money put back to help them pay back some of this shit, you know. I don't have any word yet on when they will actually start their prison sentence, and also I'm curious as if the judge will let them do their sentences separately. Sometimes the judge will let one go in and do their sentence, and then let the other one, when they come out, let the other one go back in. I don't know if that'll happen since their sentences are a little long. We'll have to just wait and see. But I want to hear from you. Join the conversation by commenting below. Make sure you like this video so it gets shared out amongst the YouTube community. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get up-to-date notifications when I post new content. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See you.